Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mac Ehrhardt and I'm joined by Jake Hansen, our product manager. And in this video, we're going to talk about Blue River Organic Soybean seed. So there's a picture of us. Jake, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Mac. My name is Jake Hansen. As you said, I am our corn and soybean product manager. I've been serving this position for about 10 years now, and I've been with Albert Lee Seed for 15 this summer, actually. So been working closely with Mac as he's kind of put some of these tasks onto me and building what we feel is a very strong portfolio of soybeans here for you to look at and consider for your farms.
Thanks, Jake. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Mac Ehrhardt, chairman of Albert Lee Seed. I've been with the company full time for the last 35 years. So let's just roll into it. In this section, we're going to talk about Blue River Organic Soybeans from 0.8 to 1.7 maturity. If you're interested in soybeans with a later maturity or our corn, you can click on one of our other videos, or you can also give a call to one of our dealers that you can find on our website. And with that, we'll dive right in.
All right. Jumping right in here with the Blue River 0821 at a 0.8 maturity. This is a bean that has done exceptionally well for us, both in zone and south. I really like this hybrid. You can move this one down into 2.0 maturity ranges, and it's going to hold up quite well. It maintains its height fairly well. It bushes out, fills a row. And it has brought a lot of yield to the table for a 0.8. I've been very impressed with this one. It does flex its maturity just a little bit as you pull it south. We've seen it look more like about a 1.0 or a 1.1 here in southern Minnesota. But in zone, in that what I call the tri-state area of Minnesota, North and South Dakota, where it was developed, it really does act like a 0.8, holds that maturity line very well in zone. But coming south, you can plant this one with confidence as a replant or even an early option. We've seen it do quite well and compete with some of the best 2.0 beans on the market.
Yes, there are some organic farmers who are looking for an early bean that they could harvest early and follow with, say, some kind of a cover crop, or and they want to change their rotation around and they need that earlier maturity. So this is a great candidate for a shorter maturity soybean in those situations. The next bean is 12A2, which is a variety that Blue River carried for a long time. And the year that Blue River was purchased by Albert Lee Seed and we integrated it into our brand, Blue River had chosen to drop that variety, and there was a lot of screaming from customers and dealers how that was a mistake. And so we did bring it back, basically by popular demand. And it's a variety that's really popular with organic farmers because it simply performs extremely well on organic farms. It gets nice and tall, carries its pods high off the ground, competes well with weeds, and very widely adapted with consistent performance. I will say, and Jake, tell me I'm wrong if I am, but I don't think this is the best variety to drag a long ways south. I think it's got the health to do it, but I think it starts to give up a little yield when you drag it into like 1.7 or 1.8 or 2.0 maturity soybean country. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I would. And after seeing this one, like as Max said, when we got a bunch of kickback from customers, seeing this one compared to some other products that we had with the Viking lineup, a lot of what was said was right, but I would agree that this is one that definitely needs to be kept in that, I'd say, 1.0 to 1.5 corn or bean country. That's where it's going to perform its best. It does give up a little bit, even to like the 0821, as you pull it south as a earlier replant type option. So yeah, I would agree 100% with what you just said, Mac.
Great. Just a word on our purity guarantee. So all these soybeans are going to carry a badge about our purity guarantee, and the badge on these says 99% GMO free. The truth is, they're all actually 99.5% GMO free, or we won't sell any organic soybeans that are more than 0.5% GMO. And most of them are well below that. So plant these with confidence, knowing that you're planting seed that doesn't have a high level of GMO in it. We also do have another badge on our food type soybeans. That's the ultra pure label, where we guarantee the seed to be 99.9% free of GMO. Maybe we'll talk about that when we get to one.
Which
we're
is
there
right,
already.
which is right now.
All right. So Blue River 14Y4A is a yellow hilum soybean with above average protein. And by that, we mean it's probably going to be 40, 41. I don't know if it's going to click 42 or not, but it's going to be a yellow hilum with elevated protein. It also has aphid tolerance. So for those of you who live in areas where aphids are consistently a problem and are taking some of your yield away, this is a variety that has aphid tolerance. It was released by the University of Minnesota, I think 3 years ago now, and it directly replaced an older aphid tolerant variety that we had carried for many years. And this one, it was just a huge improvement. The agronomics on it are much better in terms of lodging resistance and overall toughness. It's just a better product. It also has more yield, and it's yellow hilum with elevated protein. So a great 1.4 at this maturity if you're looking for a yellow hilum bean. The one next to it, and it's an ultra pure, so it comes with that 99.9% GMO-free guarantee. However, if you just want the highest yielding soybean available in this maturity, that's going to be the one on its right there, and I'll let Jake talk about that.
Yeah, so the 15B5 is brand new for Blue River this year. For those of you that remember, we did sell this one in our Viking conventional lineup last year. And I think it takes a direct replacement for that 1518N, which was a mainstay for us for a long time. But a couple of things that it did better, as you can see in that first bullet point, it added 3 to 4 bushels consistently across locations. It's a little bit taller plant, bushes out very well. It also had a little bit better disease tolerance to things like white mold and Phytophthora over the 1518. And another thing that it has that I feel is another step is, like we say in that last bullet point there, it has the Peking gene for cyst resistance. And it's not as big of an issue on organic farms, I feel like, as it is on conventional ground. But that's a big thing. There was a stigma with the Peking gene for a long time that it was a yield drag. It brought the yields down. Well, I think we've got a much better understanding, and the breeding behind that gene now is such that that's been fixed and completely alleviated. And the data that we've seen on this one has been no joke. So a couple more bushels over the 1518, a little bit better seed size. In the last couple of years, 1518 has been pretty small seed. I think we're going to fix that as well. I think this is just going to be a nice new product for us. It's going to fit a lot of acres and do a little bit more than what the 1518 could. Next up here, a pair of 1.7s. Kind of like the previous one we just looked at, you have the 1718, which is just your feed type bean, all about yield, excellent disease tolerance. This is really a good defensive bean that puts a lot of yield out there. Widely adapted east to west. You can push it south out of zone fairly well, and it's still going to hold up nicely and yield compared to some things around it. Excellent standing, just hard to find a lot of faults with the 1718. It's just been overall an outstanding bean for us, similar to what the old 1518 did, but just more yield. I think this one and the 15B5 are going to complement each other very nicely if you want to spread your maturity just a little bit.
And on its right there is another food type soybean. It's got yellow hilum, has protein that's usually above 42%. Every year is a little different, so it could come in 41.5 or something, but it's been 42% or better for us. Yellow hilum, good all around agronomics. It also comes with that purity guarantee of ultra pure, meaning we basically guarantee that it's GMO free seed, 99.9%. One thing important to note here is that on the left, you'll notice that the 1718 is sold in 140,000 seed units, which is the industry standard. Some companies do different things, but most companies are selling soybeans by the 140,000 seeds. However, these yellow hilum large seeded varieties, you cannot get 140,000 seeds in a bag in most years without having the bag be 65 or 70 pounds. And so for that reason, we sell them in a 110,000 seed unit. And they're priced in 110,000 seed unit, and you need to order them that way as well. So be aware that it's also true of our other yellow hilums and also a couple of dark hilum soybeans that we sell that are just naturally very large seeded. So that concludes our 0.8 to 1.7 maturity Blue River Organic Soybean presentation. If you're interested in later soybeans, please click on one of our other presentations. Call your dealer, who you can find on our website, or call us directly at Albert Lee Seed. Thanks for joining us today. Okay. All right, we're going to start the next one. You ready, Jake?
Mm-hmm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome and thank you for joining us in this video today. We're going to talk about Blue River Organic Soybeans. My name is Mac Ehrhardt. I'm chairman of Albert Lee Seed, and I'm joined today by Jake Hansen. Jake, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Mac. Like you said, my name is Jake Hansen. I've been with Albert Lee Seed for 15 years this summer. And for about the last 10, I've been serving as our corn and soybean product manager, working very closely with Mac, building this portfolio, selecting products, testing products that we feel are really going to perform well on organic acres. And we're pretty proud of the lineup that we're able to present to you today.
Thanks, Jake. In this section, we're going to talk about Blue River Organic Soybean seed from 1.9 to 2.2. Not a very big range there because we have, frankly, have too many products in this maturity. But it's hard to pull them apart because there's reasons to carry each one. And if you're interested in earlier soybeans or later soybeans or Viking conventional soybeans, we have lots of other videos available for you to watch. You can also call your dealer or give us a call at Albert Lee Seed.
All right, we'll start it off with a couple of real strong performers here. First one being the 19B5. We're going into year 2 with this variety. It is a dark hilum, just a feed grade type, medium tall. It does branch out very well. It fills a row quite nicely. Maintains its height and standability very, very well. Everywhere I looked at it in 2024, it wasn't, the tops of the plant weren't even bowing over. So this thing has tremendous standability, and its ability to move in and out of zone is quite well. You can take this one into that 1.5 maturity range as a full season. It's going to hold on quite well. We've seen this one down as far south as Ames, Iowa, doing the same thing. Maintained its height, maintained its branching ability, and overall plant health is exceptionally well. The stress tolerance on it is really a nice step up from where we've been with things in the past. So you just notice this one here. Both of these actually have that 140,000 seeds per unit range. You'll notice a couple other varieties that we carry are in the 110. And I'll let Mac explain that here a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'll jump in on the second bean. So 19B4A, the reason you'd plant that is if you have regularly experienced problems with soybean aphids in your organic crop production, because it has that RAG2 aphid tolerance for good aphid resistance. It's not bulletproof. The aphids can mutate around it after 2 or 3 weeks. But in general, during that real heavy aphid period, it's resistant to the aphids and it's going to give you additional yield in there if they're heavily infested. It's a direct replacement for the one that we carried for at least a decade called 1955. It yields more, it stands better, it has better agronomics, so it was a real no-brainer for us to add it. However, if you don't consistently have a problem with aphids, the 19B5 is simply going to yield more. It's probably going to add 10%. I don't know, maybe that's an exaggeration, but routinely it's going to add 3 to 5 bushels an acre. So if you don't have an aphid problem, go with the 19B5.
Yeah, and you mentioned the yield on it, Mac. Just a little snippet from last year. As you can see, that 19B5 added a couple of bushels on average, but there was a few locations where it was really jumping up in terms of overall yield. So overall performance is very well compared to a Virtue 21-22 that we've had in the past. As you can see, it's adding 2 bushels to that. The 19B5, actually, both of these are a little bit higher in yielding. But I think with that 19B4 having that aphid tolerance, 19B5 just being your overall solid yielder, I think they're a good punch there.
Yeah, I just said I think Jake just said it. So in very high yield environments, the 19B5 is going to pull away.
Yeah.
In any environment where there's aphid pressure, obviously the 19B4 is going to have an advantage.
Yep. And then moving on to the old standby with the E1993. This has been around, Mac, how long? 9 years?
Yeah, it's an old John Schillinger Emerge variety that we brought back from the dead because Menno Borntrager claimed it was the best organic bean to plant. So we brought it back, and in fact, it has done a really good job on organic farms. It just it's a nice big bushy plant that really shades the row, and it's done a really good job on organic farms. A couple of things about it. It's getting out yielded by some of the beans around it. As you saw in the last slide, it was losing 4 or 5 bushels to the 19B5. Another thing about it is it's extremely large seeded, so it often comes in, this year it comes in 110,000 seed unit, which means you're paying more money for seed if you do the math. And so a couple knocks against it, but honestly, the on-farm performance on organic farms has been hard to beat, and so we continue to carry it. Right next to it, we have the IAS 19C3. This is a specialty variety released by Iowa State. It's a yellow hilum. It's near food grade, or it is a food grade bean, but it's not going to give you usually it's not going to be above a 42% protein. Am I right about that, Jake? I think it's more like a 40
yeah,
to
yep, about a 40.5 to near 42 average is where it comes in. Yep.
So if your food buyer needs to have 42% or higher, this one you couldn't rely on for that. What you can rely on it to do is yield like crazy, because it's kept up with some of the best beans on non-yellow hilum, non-high protein beans in its maturity. And you'll notice that if you read the variety name, which is the Iowa State variety number, it looks like it's a 1.9. Our experience of this soybean for several years is that it's not a 1.9. It is a 2.1. So it does its best work really a little bit south of that 1.9 maturity range. That's where it really performs for yield. If you need a yellow hilum high protein bean and that 2.1 maturity, this is an excellent choice for top end yield. It is a variety that does require you to sign a license before we deliver the seed. And when you order your seed, we will email you a form on which you can click and sign the license. Another thing, both these beans are that 110,000 seeds per unit. So be aware that when you order your seed, it's not a bag per acre or 1.2 bags per acre. You really have to do the math to make sure you end up with enough seed.
Thanks, Mac. Jumping into one of our, if not our top seller, with the 2155. This is another just tremendous top end yield potential, excellent defensive bean to a lot of different diseases, white mold, IDC, SDS has been pretty strong on this one too, sudden death. As far as maturity, it does flex its maturity a little bit, as we say in that last bullet point. If it's a little bit further north into kind of late group 1 maturity range, it acts more like a 2.1, but as we push it south, we've seen this one actually act almost like a 2.4 in some areas. So it does flex its maturity based on its environment a little bit, but that hasn't held it back. It's still been one of our most consistent top yielders across a wide range of soil types, a wide range of environments, east to west, north to south. This one just keeps doing a lot of good things, particularly on organic farms, gets out of the ground quickly, shades a row fairly quickly, and stands all season long. This is one that we can regularly count on to be just that nice steady performer on organic farms. Next up, the 2244 at a 2.2. This one I feel is more true to maturity compared to the one before it, but it sometimes has come just a touch earlier. One benefit you're going to pick up with this one, as we say in that first point, Reg 1 and Reg 2, you're picking up multiple modes of action against aphids with this variety, and it yields right with the 2155, right with some things around it at a 2.4. I've been very, very pleased with this one. I just talked with a customer here yesterday that really loves this bean around Titonka, Iowa. He's never seen an aphid problem in an area where aphids have been prevalent or in the past. but good standing. This is one that actually, like I said, yields right with a lot of things, so that aphid tolerance isn't dragging it back or holding it back at all in terms of yield. So it's another one. If you know you've got aphids, you can plant this one with good confidence that you're going to help hold them aphids off, plus they'll be bringing a lot of yield to the table.
Thanks, Jake. All right, that concludes this section on Blue River Organic Soybeans from a 1.9 to a 2.2. If you'd like to learn about earlier soybeans or later soybeans, please click on one of our other videos, or give your dealer a call. You can look them up on our website, or give us a call at Albert Lee Seed, and we'd also be happy to help you.